next presenter is, as many of you have probably read, is a very, very highly regarded and acclaimed photographer. And but what really intrigued me was the work that she did for the New Yorker recently, and going to Fukushima, because putting those two things together, both with her credibility and the obvious power of the story of Fukushima, and the fact that we no longer really hear about it in the media, and yet the event is still occurring. I think it was intriguing to have her come here and hear firsthand what her experience was there. But there were also a couple of other things that caught my eye. One is that she was born in Chiba, Japan, and she grew up there until she was 15, at which point she moved with her family to West Virginia. So can you imagine someone from West Virginia moving to Chiba, Japan? I couldn't do it, so congratulations on your adjustment. Well done. And the last thing that caught my eye was that she lives in Brooklyn with her 8-year-old fish named Quasimodo. So I'll now turn it over to Kyoko Hamada.
Thanks, Julian. Okay, I'm really, really nervous. I should be hiding behind this laptop if I can, but so yeah, my name is Kyoko Hamada. I'm a photographer based in New York, and I've been living in the United States since age 15. I'm not a photojournalist, but this assignment was important to me for the obvious reason that I'm from Japan and my family still lives there. I've been glued to the news about the disaster even 6 months after the devastation when the New Yorker contacted me for the assignment. Once again, I'm not a photojournalist. I'm just going to show you what I normally do. I work in advertisement, editorials, and I also work on my own fine art pictures. And this is a current series I'm kind of working on, dressing up myself as an elder woman, and she has a name. Her name is Kikuchio-san, and she goes to museum and she likes to feed pigeons and things like that. So Fukushima is a very different subject matter for me. And during that shoot, I got to meet my mom, and while I was visiting there, and she was all excited about, you should see those persimmons this year, and the arbor garden is doing great, and figs, and then I kept thinking, I'm a little scared to eat these. And even though our Geiger counter was saying that it's very low in contamination, I felt guilty about that. I was scared of eating her food. When they approached me for this assignment, I've seen lots of sensational disaster pictures, and I just wanted to come back with something more quiet and not loud and sensational. This is Fukushima. It was my first time visiting there. The green and the nature is just so overwhelmingly beautiful to me, and the old trees, and more I see this beautiful landscape, it was heartbreaking to know that it's contaminated. And initially the scientists had a hopeful idea that filling the rice field paddy with sunflowers might help to absorb the radiation of the soil. So, but by the end of September, they found out that it was not efficient enough. But these are the ladies who also helped to plant these sunflowers, and when I saw them in the morning, early morning in Minamisoma, I really wanted to photograph them. So I approached them like, hey, "That'd be okay if I photograph you?" And they're all very shy, but one of them said, "Yeah, sure, okay, okay." And so I started photographing them, but they kept somehow like turning their back against me, and I kind of keep backing away little by little, and then I go near them, like kind of, and then they go back away, but they're giggling at the same time, and so we're doing this little game there, and I was like, "Okay, thanks." And so they're very sweet but very shy local people, and there are the two people. They're also very shy, but I just begged them at that point, and they smiled for me. This yellow umbrella sort of kind of struck me, and the man standing by the sunflower do something about it. So I just ended up photographing this scene. Okay, so this is a photograph of public Geiger counter in Itate village. It's one of the worst contaminated villages. And this reads every 10 seconds, working 24 hours, sort of like a weather forecast or something. But just to see in this, standing next to the old statues seemed really foreign and out of place. And it also looked violent, so I photographed it. Here's a picture of a man at the public measuring station where the local farmers bring their vegetables and fruits, hoping that it's not contaminated, but this kind of a measuring station has been built throughout Japan, not only in Fukushima, but just throughout Japan, mostly for farmers. And here's another public measuring station where for humans, I guess, if you felt that you are contaminated, you can bring your family or kids or yourself, and nuclear power plant worker can measure it for you. This boy was brought in, I think, because he was playing in the puddle, and parents were concerned that he was contaminated, but he was okay. This is a woman I ran into in that same morning, and I just had to photograph her because she just seemed so happy, standing with her dog, and the dog is smiling too, I think. And it's just despite all the devastated surrounding there, and she said that, "Well, I'm happy, my dog is okay," and it's just a nice moment. And the family got together to fix in their roof that was damaged by earthquake. Here are two men standing. They're from power plants and standing by the beach where it used to be a leisure area, and during the summertime people came and swim, but now it's all barren, and sort of everything got kind of wiped out. And in the same morning, I saw these origami cranes scattered and washed away in the same beach area. And traditionally, origami cranes are used as a gesture or for a prayer for recovery. So I ended up photographing these. This is a theme park called Atom World, and built in 80s. This is a uranium kun, and this is plutonium kun, and they are just like singing this like, "Oh, it's very safe, nuclear power is safe, and it's efficient and just good for people." And by the time I got to this boy photographing, there's people from Atom World like just panning, "Ma'am, you have to leave. You're not supposed to be photographing here." And so of course I just went upstairs and kept on photographing, and then there's another people going, you have to leave now." And then by that time I really didn't like them, but I had to leave. Okay, I would like to talk about this woman a little bit. Her name is Kobayashi-san, and I photographed her in Iitate village, again, which is one of the worst contaminated village. And this is at her home. And when we are approaching, she told me that her Geiger counter was reading a 9 microsievert, which was the highest number I ever heard. And I got nervous, so I told her if I could wear a mask while I photographed her, and she said it was okay. That she felt that it was important that I feel okay. So when I photographed her, the Geiger counter is beeping, and we had to turn it off because it was just too loud. And I had a mask on, and telling her, could you move a little bit to this side and doing this photography thing, but it was a very scary in a way. Her husband passed away a few years ago of cancer, and he spent his last 9 days in this house and just continued to admire the beauty of this village and the nature. And this is Kobayashi-san taking care of her flowers in the backyard. And this is her cat. And she was just very memorable to me because she was very concerned about balance between the humans and nature, and just despite of all this sorrow, she seemed to stand very strong, and just really wishing that our generation will be the last to go through this nuclear disaster. I want to finish this presentation with these cats, not just because I like cats and they're cute, but they're Kobayashi-san's cats. And when I shared all the pictures from Fukushima, she told me that this was the only picture she felt that there was no stress, nor anger, nor sorrow from this disaster. And I was happy to hear that, and I was also glad to come back with a picture like this from Fukushima. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for sharing that. I just have to say the juxtaposition of the beauty of the photographs and of the not only technically in what you saw, but also the countryside of Japan and the beauty of the area and what you don't see of the danger and the horror is just really striking. I mean, really, truly striking. Do we have questions? There's a question?
So your pictures are really beautiful and calm and serene, just as you said that they would be. And without hearing the story, you wouldn't know that this is all about quiet destruction that's happening. Well, what's it like when you're there? Do people have an awareness of what's happening to them and to their property and to their land? Are they in denial? They seem happy and smiling. Is that really what they're like? Is that what they're experiencing?
No, I mean, it's well, I think also Japanese people tend to sort of smile when things are even hard. It was kind of, when I approached them, it was sort of a mutual understanding that, yeah, well, it's being tough. So, I mean, it's all very different how people are taking. Some people left Fukushima because, of course, they're concerned about the children. Or some people, especially elders, they decide to stay. It was more important for them to stay than worrying about what's going to happen to them 20 or 30 years later. So everybody's dealing this differently.
The speakers, the speakers will be available after to answer more questions, and I invite you all to speak with them. So, Kyoko, thank you so much.